All right. The way this starts is...
Do you want us to follow along?
You
like, with our own
can.
sketch?
You can if you want to. Okay. Now, the first step is that I'd highly recommend two things. Working with a 12 by 18 paper. Okay. 12 by 18. Make sure it's 12 by 18. Much easy. And then the second step, if you don't have 12 by 18, you're welcome to take two, regular sheets of paper and then just tape it together. That can work too, okay? Now, does anybody need time to get those items? Anybody need time to go down?
I got the 12 by 14 paper.
Yeah, that'll work. That should relatively work.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. All right, so what you're gonna do, first step, hopefully this works on your paper, and it should. You shouldn't have too much trouble. All right, first step is that you take your paper, and what you do, I would literally fold it in half, hot dog style, okay? Now, please forgive me, I'm working on paper that has been abused, so I didn't want to waste paper. So just make that fold, and I'll tell you what, just to emphasize it so you could see it online a bit better, I'll go ahead and do like a dash line on that crease so you can see it. As I know online, maybe on the camera, you probably can't see it. I'm just emphasizing it. So that's the first step, okay? Is that you have taken your paper and you folded it in half, okay? That's the first step. Now, second step is, I call it the finger method. And the reason why I reduced myself to the finger method is because many students had trouble measuring, okay? Now, I'm an art teacher, so I would rather spend time teaching you how to draw than to sit there and teaching you how to measure, okay? So I came up with the finger method, okay? Now, first thing is that you take your index finger, your middle finger, and your ring finger, and you lay it down on that crease on the edge, okay? So lay it down on that edge. Now, with that measurement, I want you to draw a line where those three fingers stop, okay? That's the first. So the fold, and then the first three fingers, okay? I know it sounds funny, but yeah, I came up with the finger method. All right, next is hand measurement. So I basically take my middle finger and I lay it on that line that I just made. And I just make sure that from my middle finger to where the end of my hand lies, I'll draw a line. Okay, just like that. So that's one hand space. Okay, from this point to this point, one hand space. Okay.
Is this where our face is going to be?
Roughly. We're almost there. Okay. Now, from that little mark that we just made, using three fingers again, the same three fingers, you're going to take your ring finger, place it like past that line a bit, okay? And from that point down, okay, another three fingers down. Okay, so you literally have 1, 2, 3 lines on the center line of your page. Boy, this is much easier with a smaller group.
Is that on this right?
Pardon?
I was using 6 by 10 and I instantly regretted it.
Oh, 6 by 10. Yeah.
This is what I have. I don't know if you can see it well.
No, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I grabbed the larger sheet.
So again, like I said, we have the 12 by 18. We fold it in half. Then from the top of the paper, 3 fingers. Okay. Hi, Lucas. I'm going through proportions. I hope maybe you need this, okay, because you are kind of like relatively a beginner in AP art. Don't ask me how that happens, okay? So 3 fingers, and you mark that line. Then 1 hand space and 3 fingers, okay? So from top of the head to the bottom of the chin is where we are, okay? Everybody got that? Do you guys need more time?
I don't think.
I got a new paper, so I might need you to repeat some of the steps.
Okay, well, okay, remember, like I said, first step is to take your 12 by 18, you fold it in half, okay?
Yeah, I did that, and the three fingers at the bottom.
next step is, no, from the top. I like to start from the top, but unfortunately, because my camera won't be able to be online the whole time, so I tend to move it so that you could see it better. But what I do is I start from the top of the page, and I work 3 fingers down from there, put a line, and then 1 hand space, and then hand space and 3 fingers. Okay, so it's a total, that's the whole part that we've got right there. Okay, let me admit.
Yeah.
Clinton.
Okay.
So now what you have is you have the top of the head, bottom of the chin, so to speak. But don't worry, we're getting to more. Now, from that center line, okay, what you're going to do, you're taking your 4 fingers, okay, and you're putting it on that center line. And you're taking the smallest measurement and just going ahead and 4 fingers and 4 fingers. The same measurement on both sides, okay? So 4 fingers and 4 fingers.
Can you read your
Sure.
paper? Because I
Okay,
couldn't see
sorry.
what you were demonstrating.
4 fingers and 4 fingers. You draw that mark, and then you do it again. 4 fingers and 4 fingers. Okay.
Just space my hand out a little bit because I have a weird one.
Yeah. Now, what's gonna happen? Okay, I usually tell my kids to use a ruler after this, but you don't need a ruler. What you can do is just try your best to make a straight line using, now, continue the line, continue the last line, and then take this, and what you do is you try your best to connect and make a straight line, connecting those two. So we connected, continued, and continued. This one's left alone. This we don't touch. Now, believe it or not, all of that was for one purpose and one purpose only. And the purpose was to get an oval. Because many students don't even know how to draw an oval. And that's okay. Okay? We're here as beginners and it's hard. Okay? So what you're going to do now that you got that box or rectangle, okay, you're now going to create an arc. You're going to curve it to make more of like a skull-like shape or form. This is the bottom of where the chin is, the jawline. And this will change. This is going to change according to you, okay? Now, roughly, that's what you're going to get in the beginning, okay? So now I have this oval in that box, okay, that rectangle. Inside that rectangle, I now made my oval, okay? Now, the next step. If you remember, we said half, right? From the top of the head to the chin, halfway through should be where the eyes are. So what do? Very easy. I take this point, and to make life a little easier, I just match it up with that bottom point. So I literally take those 2 marks and I put them together. And when I put them together, bam, I fold it along that edge. Okay, I just put the 2 marks together. I folded it along that area, and now I have the center line. So I just made my life a little easy. I just literally folded the paper. Because like I said, this is going to be your messy paper. This is going to be the one that you mess up, you change the eyes 5, 10 times. And then what you're going to do is you're going to transfer the image onto your good paper and then do your final portrait. Okay?
You said something about Photoshop, right?
I would say don't think about Photoshop right now. Okay? Yeah. For beginning level, I say don't think about Photoshop. So I'm sorry that you're in a class with so many different levels that I have to talk about it. Now, I use Photoshop a lot when I work. I've done it numerous times. I think of my image, my idea. I might sketch it out. Then I'll take photos. I say, oh man, I gotta go take photos now. So I take photos of what I'm thinking, and then after that, I throw the photos into Photoshop. I merge them, do what I want to do, Band-Aid them. I use the, what are the tools? Band-Aid, I lasso, I distort, I play with perspective. I do everything in there. And then I build my image. Yeah, then I go to my art piece. Then I finally touch it. Now, so here's my halfway point. That halfway point, remember, that's where the eyes are, okay? Now, if you guys remember, from the eye to the chin, it was literally almost a half down the way. So, and remember, it falls between that half mark, okay? And you could, again, take that line. What we could do, okay, is you could literally fold it on that line, that bottom chin line, okay? Literally fold it and then match it to the eye line. And what's happening? You're finding out the halfway point. That helps you to find the halfway point without measuring, okay? This is like the lazy way, okay? That's now that I was pretty good. I was able to eye it. But between here and here, the halfway point, okay, that's the nose area. Then they say between here and here, but remember, that nose, the bottom of the nose, like I said, is going to fall anywhere from 1/4 of the inch up to that part where that nose is. So that nose, whatever you draw, is going to either end here or it's going to end here, depending upon who you're drawing, okay? Now, in between here and here, okay, from the nose line to the chin, about 1/3 of the way. So if we were to break this down to thirds, okay, if we were to break down this area to thirds, right there roughly will be where the mouth lies. And again, the mouth can teeter from 1/4 of an inch in between, from here to here, roughly is where that mouth is going to lie. So whomever it is that you're drawing, their mouth line is going to start right about there. That nose will start somewhere in between here. I'll put it up. Now, I tell you another thing I look for is I look for right triangles. That's another crazy trick that I do, is I look at the edge of the eye, and right there, if I see a right triangle, bam, that's where the nose is at, roughly, okay? That's what I do. Now, so now, what do we have here? We have the eye area, we know where the nose is going to be, and we know where the mouth is going to be. So, like I said, between here and here, the mouth, between here and here, the nose, depending upon who we're drawing. Now, next step. Oh my God, all that space. I'm going to tell you something easy that I do. From that little point, the middle point on the eye area, I'll usually use my hand like a fulcrum, and I go from, I take my finger, and this is something weird, I tend to just arc it like right there. You could literally use a compass if you want to, and take your compass, take that measurement and take it across if you wanted to. And that is where, woohoo, your hair lies. Okay, that's your hair, the dimensionality, the width and stuff. That's what's going to happen here. Okay, so.
Can you repeat that, please? Sorry.
Sure, yeah, that's fine. So what I do, this is the set, here's that eye line, right? That's like bullseye, the point in between these two, that you can say that's midpoint, okay, if you want to get mathematical. Now, if I took a compass literally, and I made that where the fulcrum lies, I could go ahead and arc it, and that's roughly where your hairline is, okay? That's where, you know, you get the dimensionality for your hair. Falls within here, okay? That's your hairline, okay? And now, next step. Here we have the eyes. We know that the eyes are 1 eye distance apart, okay? That's what they say. So, in this is what I tell my kids all the time. Take your finger, or if you got a ruler, you can measure. If you're measuring, okay, I'll tell you, this is 3 inches, okay? This is 6 and 9, actually 6 and 3, so it's total 9. And then this is 3.5, if you were to measure. But like some kids didn't know how to measure, so I stopped the measurement thing. I stopped it quick. All right, when I found myself around the room teaching like what's a half and what's a third, oh my God, it drove me crazy. All right, now, so this point here, okay, from there, you could go 1/2 inch, or I tell my students use 1 finger space. 1 finger space, 1 finger space, okay? 2 finger spaces, Actually, I messed up on this one. Ouch, that went a little too far, sorry. And now 2 fingers from there. So now I've got 1 eye distance in between my 2 eyes, okay? So that's literally where my eyes are gonna be. Now another crazy arc thing, okay, with the pupil thingy, okay, from the center, okay, if we were to find that midpoint. And again, another arc, another arc. You literally take a compass and put that arc in if you want to. If you have a compass, you could literally do that. Now, another thing, okay, like I said with the nose, I'm going to go with this. Remember I said it starts at the half and it may work its way up depending upon who, okay? So roughly my eyes, where the tear duct lies, straight down, tear duct lies straight down. That's beginning and ending of the nose. Now it will tend to go outward a bit. It's like maybe a 1/4 of an inch out, 1/4 of the inch, a 1/4 inch out. And relatively, bam, that's roughly where the nose lies. Okay, so you've got your eyes, okay? And then think, everything that we kind of learned, do all of whatever it is that you got to do to get there, okay? And depends on who you're drawing, okay? Like in this case, it happens to be you, so you're looking in the mirror. You're looking for these little things to add in. Now, here's the mouth, right? So the mouth, like I said, between here and here. I'm going to let it be on this line, okay? Now, another thing too, if you drop a line down from the pupil, drop a line down from the pupil, quote unquote, they say that that's the beginning and ending of, let's say, the mouth area. So roughly, there we go with the mouth. Here we go with the nose. Okay, and then there's the eyes and eyebrows and stuff that happens. Okay, bottom of the lip, bam, right in there. Okay, so now we literally know where those parts go. Okay, you are going to put your pieces in this pattern. Okay, next step, your ears. Your ears usually go from this eye line to the nose. Okay, usually falls within this area. Okay, so roughly where that lies, that's where your ears will be. Okay, and remember the drawings of the ears that we did with the practice. Okay, all that comes into being. You go ahead and put that in. Now, another crazy dynamic. This is now the neck, okay? The pupil drop down, okay? And the mouth line, 45 degrees, okay? Drop a line, beginning and ending of neck, okay? Now, trapezius and trapezius goes out. It's usually an angle, okay? Or maybe no one is ever straight across. That would be relatively abnormal. Usually the shoulders go down a bit, okay? You go down a bit, okay? So take on an angle like so. And then also one other dynamic, there are 2 heads in the chest. So your shape will go past that point. So roughly now, you have this paradigm that you will now put yourself in. So you're going to use the mirror, place the mirror out in front of you. And what I would do is I would work straight from that mirror to try to get your pieces into that puzzle, okay? Now, when you are finished, what do? I would take this paper to a window, get your other paper that you're going to transfer it onto to make your beautiful portrait. I would place it under, and you see, actually, you probably see it. Yeah, you see how I could see the image through the paper? Do you see my image? You can literally see right through it. If you had a window, if I had a window behind here, it would act like a box, the light box that I have in my classroom. Some of you don't know about it, but there's a light box. I usually use a light box. I tell my students to just go to the light box and trace it. Okay, it's their work. They made it, so go ahead. But you don't have to trace it with all those lines, okay? All that's not necessary. What's necessary are the parts that got you there. So that's one way, is to trace it that way. Another way that you can do this is you could go behind your drawing you could literally take a drawing implement, darken the whole back of it. And then once you darken the whole back of it, what will happen is now you can turn it over, lay it down onto the paper where you want your composition. And I'm going to use a pen because it's a little bit harder to press onto. So I will go over my drawing, okay? And what's going to happen, now I'm being sloppy with it, sorry, but it will come out onto my page, okay? That would be a decent transfer that you, like I said, you're doing all your mistakes here. Any problems that you have, you didn't get the braids right, you know, you erased the braids 15 million times. And like I said too, always break down to the shape, the form, okay? Like with hair, normally I would not work with strand. I would work with the shape and the form of it. Wait, let me use my other pencil. I like the side of it. Hopefully it'll help me work. Like this whole shape and the form. I rather work with that shape and the form and the value, okay? That's more important. Now you don't have to get into detail, meaning that shading, value on this part. This part is strictly a line drawing. Now what I would do too, once you trace it onto the good paper, I would take a photograph of this, send it to me, or send it to me first, get the approval, and then move on to your next drawing, then transfer, okay? Like maybe I might, like somebody actually shot me an image of their work, and I said, well, the eyes are too close together. There should be one eye space in between. So now she's gonna be tweaking it, changing it, and then, you know, when it comes to the real one, she won't have to have all those problems. So it's best to show me what you've done in this base portrait. I call it the base portrait because it is the base for your actual drawing, okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So again, I repeat, once you're done putting your pieces in here, I would snap a picture and I'd upload it into Teams to kind of get my approval, to get my feedback. And then from there, you know, email me. Let me know, hey, it's there, or shoot me a message through Teams. Say, hey, look at what I sent you. Or I will definitely try my best to keep that area open so I can look and see your work, and I could give you approval to move on to the next level. Then when you're ready, then go ahead and trace it onto your surface where you're going to now implement maybe other things that represent you. And another thing too, does it have to stay realistic? No. Let's say you want to morph yourself into half dragon, half human. You know, maybe you want to use part of your head, but yet the other side you want to make it into a dragon, or the other side you want to make it into a wolf, part animal, part human. It's up to you what part you want to use. Or maybe you want to totally abstract it. Maybe you want to come in with a line design of some sort and then put your eye over here, your mouth over here. Maybe you want to do bubbles and then different parts of yourself in each bubble. I don't know, okay? However it is that you want to tell a story about yourself, okay?
I did this one while following along. I just want to know if it's generally correct. Sorry for the very light lines.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. It's just the nose area looks like it's a little too... Actually, the eyes don't look like they're in the right watch. Remember, from the top of the head to the chin, halfway, that's where the eyes are.
Yeah.
I know it looks like, what? But yeah, that's
No, they should be lower down. I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's pretty
I think
much
it's
long.
because, what was it? I didn't,